Hello and welcome to work at J.J. White Incorporated. We were founded in 1920 and we're a diverse company involved in general construction, mechanical construction, HVAC work, hydroblasting, exchanger work, tank construction and repair work, and electrical work. We do both construction and maintenance work as well as service work. I want to speak to you to make sure that we identify to you how important your safety is to us at J.J. White. One of the important features of what our corporate mission is to take care of our people. That's you. In taking care of you, it's important that you understand that safety is personal. We'll give you the tools, we'll give you the training, we'll give you the rights and the responsibilities, but we want to be sure that you understand you have to be the one that's personally accountable for all that goes on with your work. When we look at the cause of many of the factors that cause accidents, it's generally from the fact that procedures aren't followed or common sense isn't applied. I like to summarize the contributing factors in three categories. 1, lack of hazard recognition. Do you really understand that you're working in a hazardous environment? 2, wrong tool for the job. Get the right tool. We all know that we've used cheaters. We all know that there's some quicker way to get it done, but the right tool for the job gets it done safely. Lastly, poor planning or rushing. Trying to finish up the job before the end of the shift, trying to get the lift done so that you can get rid of the crane, trying to get things done quickly so that you can get the schedule achieved. Please understand, there is no job so critical in schedule that it's not worth doing safely at J.J. White. You have the ultimate stop work authority. You may have all the clearances, you may have all the permits, but you have the stop work authority and you have the empowerment from me, Jim White, the president of J.J. White Inc., that you can call me anytime if somebody is forcing you to do something that you feel uncomfortable with or you don't feel trained for. My cell phone is 215-852-2052, 24/7, if you have a concern about your safety at J.J. White. Let us know if you have any medical issues that may be a reason that you can't perform particular functions or tasks. If there's any medical supplies that you need or special accommodations that you require, we want to know about that up front, please. There are engineering controls, there are administrative controls, and there's personal protective equipment. When we look at the three primary defenses against you, the worker, from hazards in the workplace, we like to make sure that our owners and our clients apply the engineering controls up front. We like to make sure that our supervisors and administrative personnel apply the administrative controls so that you, the worker, are safe and that you have all the PPE and use it so that you are safe. Please make sure you're comfortable with the chain of command on your job. Please know it and understand it, and if there is an incident, please notify your supervisor so that your supervisor can notify our corporate risk manager and we can direct the care to the individual or individuals. The first order is make sure that that individual is attended to. And please don't render any medical care that you're not qualified to give. Notify the proper authorities, use the emergency call system in the facility in which you're located, and make sure that you reach out to the people that can render the proper help. Housekeeping is critical. What you have in your site, on your job, is everyday constant maintenance. Debris, trash, clutter, and things that can accumulate and become tripping hazards, can become obstacles to you working safely. Remember to adjust to the climate and the circumstances. Weather is a great factor on a lot of the construction and maintenance work we do. The JSA that you have and will fill out, I hold before you here, and it's important. This JSA really is your guide to working safely. It outlines the steps to perform the work. It asks you to outline the hazards that are involved in the work. And it also asks you to show how you will eliminate those hazards. You sign on this card indicating that you understand what the job you're about to do is. You should have this card executed at the beginning of each shift, and you should execute this with the change of any condition or task that you're doing. We also want to be sure that as a crew member, as a team member, you complete the card and the foreman audits the card to make sure that the crew understands the tasks to be performed. When we look at the areas where people are hurt the most, it's the hands, it's the eyes, it's the feet, it's the back, it's the knees. These are all a function of proper lifting technique and keeping body parts out of the line of fire. I ask you to be conscious of where you are, what's above you, what's below you, and what's next to you. Ergonomics is a big aspect of what we do every day in construction. Lift within, as we describe, the green zone. Make sure you use your knees. Make sure you flex. Make sure you stretch. Make sure you're prepared to do the task you're about to do. Are you about to lift something that maybe you need some help doing? The old expression goes, use your brain, save your brawn. Coaching and mentoring is something that many of us are awkward about doing. Nobody likes criticism. Criticism is rarely viewed as constructive. But you have the obligation to look after your fellow man. You have the requirement to look after the people that are working alongside you to make sure that they're doing it right, especially if you're a seasoned worker and you see somebody less experienced doing something in the improper way. Show them, help them, because all of us can learn from one another. We have to be careful and cautious about subs and other prime contractors that are on our jobs. They may be a small component of the overall workforce, but they may be a large risk factor, whether they be cranes, whether they be insulation, or other type of operations that require specialty and complex interaction to our forces and working in and around where you may be. So please, be alert. And when you're working with cranes, always make sure you never walk under a load. There are some key elements of the J.J. White Health and Safety Program that you should keep in focus. Lockout, tagout requirements, fresh air and respiratory programs, scaffold programs, rigging programs, excavation programs, fall protection, and confined space entry. These are some of the cornerstones of the more critical and dangerous activities that we undertake in construction and maintenance, and you should pay special attention to these and make sure that you have the site-specific requirements involved. Vehicles and construction equipment can be sources of potential hazards in the workplace. Please be mindful of safe operation of vehicles that you are operating. Follow the speed limits. Be mindful of the crosswalks. Be belted in. Don't be driving with passengers in the back of the bed of the truck. And certainly please do not be operating a vehicle while using a cell phone. Cell phones are not permitted on the work site at J.J. White. Only supervisors are allowed to have cell phones. Along with that, we pride ourselves at J.J. White on being sure that you get information and have a voice. This is the subject of our Monday and Friday Toolbox Talks around lunchtime. We also like to start the week with a 3-minute safety stop to remind ourselves that we're back in from the weekend and there's work to be done. Also, when you think about the diversity that we have in the workforce today, it's ever more critical that you understand J.J. White's policy on harassment. If there is anybody that feels interfered with, I want to know about it. Please notify your supervisor, and we will deal with any circumstances where anybody feels as though they're being harassed. Everybody at J.J. White has the right to work without interference or harassment. Our simple policy at J.J. White is, if you would be embarrassed to have your wife, your daughter, or your mother, or your father, or your son, or your husband read or see or hear what it is that you have said or written or indicated, then you know you've crossed the line. Be respectful. Bad jokes are just that, bad jokes. Good catches are something that we're trying real hard at J.J. White to get better at. We're trying to reward people for good catches. Good catches remind us that there's a better way to do everything. And if we see things that are what were oftentimes referred to as close calls, then we know we have an opportunity to get better and improve a procedure. Procedures can always be revised, but let's first follow the procedure. And if needs be, we'll revise the procedure based upon practicality and safety.
Hello and welcome to J.J. White. We appreciate the fact that you have chosen to come to work for us. J.J. White started in the industry in 1920 and proudly only employs building trades workers. This is accomplished through our commitment of enduring excellence, a management system enabling us to continuously meet or exceed the expectations of our customers and our community, which I'm sure is a goal for all of us. Pride and craftsmanship is a key motivating factor for all of our team. Our goal is for the pride and craftsmanship to be reflected in all we do. The building trades actually have a slogan that states, "Value on display every day." J.J. White believes in the values and training that building trades provides to all of its members. I too actually am a building trades member. It is the skill and craftsmanship of the building trades workers that has helped us stay in business since our founding in 1920. J.J. White's mission is to deliver projects of unparalleled safety and quality to all of our customers. The work we do is not always easy. You are expected to do your best every day on every job. You are the first line of defense to identify, eliminate potential quality issues. We value and depend on your expertise. I like to say that quality is remembered long after the project has been completed.
Regardless of your project scope, there are always materials specified for use. In the heat of the moment, it is easy to use something because it is readily available rather than getting what is specified. Take the time to verify that what you are about to install is what is specified for the task.
We had a project consisting of fabricating different grades of stainless steel piping in our shop. During the process of cutting the material, 2 different grades of stainless were mixed together. As a result, we fabricated multiple pipe spools utilizing both grades of stainless. Because of this error, we had to cut the fabrication apart and refabricate it using the specified grade of stainless. We learned that although the materials come marked from the manufacturer, the markings aren't always enough to identify the materials when it is cut into small pieces. Had we taken the time to mark each piece as it was cut, this would have never happened. Since this has occurred, we have enhanced our materials control procedure, and now we color code all of our material prior to cutting anything. Please see your immediate supervisor for J.J. White material handling and tracking procedures.
Anything that isn't checked and double-checked can turn into a quality issue from the start. Take ownership of your work to ensure it is done right the first time. Work done right the first time saves time, money, and reputation. J.J. White is fully committed to support you in taking the time to do it correctly.
I was superintendent on a fit-out project a few years back. It was on the 3rd floor of a building in Center City, Philadelphia. Part of the project was framing out about 300 linear foot of partitions, which were going to be used in lab and office areas.
We had all our submittals in showing gauge and size of studs and the types of drywall that we were going to use. Everything was approved. The spec called for 20 gauge framing and 5/8 impact resistant drywall.
I placed the order with an approved vendor. While waiting for the delivery, I spent the day laying out partitions and had the owner's rep come out and check the layout, which was all good. I scheduled a window to be removed so we could boom in material. Material showed up the next morning and we had it boomed up to the 3rd floor. After unloading material and reviewing the job and safety requirements with the carpenters who were doing the framing, they started installing track and studs. They had about 50 linear foot of partition up by 10 a.m. when I noticed a dimple stamp on one of the studs read 22 gauge. I asked the rep if that would be acceptable, and he said it would not. I had to have the supplier come back out and swap out all of the framing. This included a new boom truck delivery and the removal of the studs that were already installed. The supply company paid for the labor to reload the job, but we had already spent 3 men and a half day loading and installing the wrong material.
Although the right material was ordered and the slip said 20 gauge studs, the guy loaded the truck at the yard put the wrong material on the truck. We could have avoided the lost time by double checking the material on the truck before it was boomed up to the floor.
As an employee of J.J. White, you are expected to empower to make the right choice. If for any reason something doesn't seem right or if you are unsure, stop. Reach out to your supervisor and verify that what you are doing is correct. Take the time to verify your work, saves time and money in the long run.
I was working as a foreman on a project that had a substantial amount of conduit to install. The conduit that was specified for the project was all aluminum. At one point, we ran out of aluminum conduit. An order was placed, however, one of my crew members took it upon themselves to use galvanized conduit from an existing stock just to keep moving. I noticed this issue and stopped the installation until the correct material arrived. I applauded their efforts to keep moving, but also coached them on the importance of using correct material.
Throughout the course of any project, problems can occur. Here at J.J. White, we want to make sure that when a problem occurs, you take the appropriate measures to have it corrected. If something is installed incorrectly or the wrong materials were used, please notify your supervisor right away. This way, we can take the appropriate measures to make sure the customer is getting what they are paying for.
We descoped a jack and level of 40-foot diameter tank. This included breaking down the attached lines and draining them. After that was done, we jacked the tank using airbags, compacted number 10 screenings under 3/4 of the tank, and then let the tank back down. When finished with that, we installed the new valves and put the tank back into service. After demobilizing from the job, we received a call a week later from the customer. The customer wanted 1/4 inch of thread showing at each end of the studs. However, the studs we installed on 2 of the new valves were flush with the exterior of the nuts. We went back to the job and hot bolted all of the existing studs with longer studs, one at a time, while the tank was in service. If we would have taken the time to double check what size studs were being used and communicated more clearly what our client wanted to the entire crew, this would have never happened.
The way we conduct ourselves, communicate with customers, maintain timeliness, and even the way we dress resonates with our customers. First impressions are the key to a client trusting J.J. White for their projects and repeat business. Wherever you go, you are representing J.J. White and are the face of the company.
The J.J. White HVAC Group has guaranteed 2-hour response time for emergency issues. Our customers depend on our professionalism and timeliness to keep their systems functioning at peak performance. Sometimes we're responding to a mechanical site where we can really get our hands dirty, but most of the time we're responding to incidents at commercial buildings and university halls. In these settings, everything from our personal appearance to the cleanliness of our vehicles has an effect on our first impression. We're proud to be the public face of J.J. White and show the pride we take in our work through our professionalism.
I'm Jim Thompson, Vice President of Quality Assurance for J.J. White. Quality is our second nature and what has led our clients to trust us as their single-source multi-trade contractor. Our reputation wouldn't be what it is today if it wasn't for our greatest asset, our employees.
At the end of the day, schedule and budget are critical, but in the long run, quality is paramount. Quality leads to repeat business, which is crucial in maintaining our reputation as one of the leading companies in the industry. Because of this dedication, we have never lost a client to dissatisfaction. I'm Jim White, and I'd like to thank you for taking a few minutes to learn about our commitment to quality. We want you to leave every day proud of the work you left behind.